Keep it cooking in the oven. The oven. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven. The oven. Yep. The oven. The oven smells good. The oven. The oven. Yep.
All right, so I gotta say, I get a little giddy. No Diddy when we're about to sit down for these mini ovens.
Right? I feel like it's been a while, but it's only been like, what, 2 weeks probably?
Yeah, 2 weeks about.
2 weeks too long. I want to do these every week.
This is the only time I like hanging out with you is when we do these
Seriously.
mini ovens.
Any other time is just business.
For real.
I know you said you were going to start us off today.
Go ahead.
Do you think one episode, we can go one episode without you talking about sex? Or is that going to be the first thing out of your mind, out of your mouth today?
You know, it's funny you say that because I almost purposely didn't put anything sexual on my list today.
Wow. Thank you.
You
This
know?
is going to be a nice, comfortable podcast tonight.
No, I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but maybe one day. I was actually going to bring up first, but before we get started.
Hey, let everyone know.
Yeah, we're the Oven Podcast. I'm Mario. That's my Croatian co-host, Franco, a.k.a. Papa Fazul.
Papa.
Today, no Rob. We got no Rob today. We got my little sister on the mic over there.
Yup.
Make sure you cover your ears when you listen to the audio too, all right?
She already hears you breathing through the mic, dude.
But how about Anthony Rendon?
Hey, Anthony Rendon, the man who hates baseball.
Yeah.
He, how funny was his first hit?
Can you say he hates it? Can you say he hates it?
He hates the sport of baseball. He likes the money that it pays him. That's Anthony Rendon to a T. He's not the only one, and I don't blame him. It's mentally it's a fucking taxing sport, dude.
Not even that. It's a job. You
Yeah,
know? So
listen,
you got to make your money. If you're making your money off of baseball, you're doing all right.
There's so many people who would fucking kill to be in the spot that he's in, batting leadoff for the Angels. To hate the sport of baseball. I mean, listen, again, I do get it. You know, it becomes a lot. 162 games is a lot of baseball, especially when you're hurt and you've been hurt for a couple of years. But my God, man, like at least show the kids that you're in it for the sport.
How is he
love
with the
of
fans?
game. I don't know. See, it's the LA market, man. So we don't really get to see that very often, which is unfortunate because other than Anthony Rendon, Mike Trout is back in true Mike Trout fashion. So, you would love to see Anthony Rendon leg out a squibber to third base for his first hit of over a year and a half now.
Was it since was September or August?
August before the playoffs.
Crazy.
I mean, yeah, that's.
Listen, if you're on my team, I don't care what your reasoning is for being on the team.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just the money, but you're giving 110%, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
As long as we have the same goal and money drives him. But hey, I'm sure he's getting an extra check if he wins the World Series, right?
For sure.
So
I mean, the Angels got to make the playoffs first. He's getting an extra He's going to be getting extra money just to make the playoffs in general.
But that's the beautiful thing about a lot of aspects of life is people are motivated by so many different things.
Yep.
And if money's his, honestly, I'm fine with it. You want to play with a guy like that?
No.
No?
Unless he's giving the 110%, which to me it doesn't really seem like he is. He's a big like
giving 110%.
Oh, and you're just there for the money? Hell yeah, I don't give a shit what you're there for. If we're winning games, you could do whatever. You don't even have to wear pants on the field. You could do whatever the hell you want.
Winning solves a lot of problems.
Winning solves all problems, really, in sports for sure. It's unfortunate. We'll stick with the sports topic for a little bit, but Caitlin Clark, hats off to South Carolina on an undefeated season, USC rather on an undefeated season. And, for us, everyone, you hear the narrative of Caitlin Clark, but that girl made women's basketball a hell of a lot more interesting. And I've always been interested in it. So for me, seeing her just, shoot 3-pointers from the logo, what she's done for the sport is humongous. Everyone's saying that she's not the GOAT because she didn't win a championship. It's a team sport, man.
Championships don't apply to me. For me, championships don't apply when you're talking about the GOAT. If you were talking about the greatest team of all time, sure. How many rings you got? How many trophies you hold up? But if you tell me who's the best player, you can't help who's around you.
Exactly. She's a part of a team with 4 other girls that are playing with her at all times, 6 on the bench. I mean, she's not the only one scoring. And sometimes she is the only one scoring, and that's the issue. So I don't know. The whole being the greatest of all time, meaning you have to win championships.
No.
I don't know, man. Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
I was just gonna bring
Fins
him up.
Like, I mean, come on. You can't. The narrative is getting old now. I feel like people. I had a conversation with Ashawn about this actually, and I was like, oh man, you're hating on Caitlin Clark. And he's like, I hate when people have differing opinions. They use the term that you're hating on it. And in this instance, I feel like people are fucking hating, and that's just what it is. No one hates Steph Curry for what he does. That's what she's doing for women's basketball. Why do you hate on her? Because she didn't win a championship. When you have Camila Cardozo, who's going to go second or third overall, she's twice the size of every girl on the court. You know what I mean? It's just, to me,
There's different ways to play the game.
yeah. And there's different ways to become the greatest of all time. I don't necessarily think a ring quantifies you as the greatest of all time, or to get you over that hump when you're already the best player to do it. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. I agree with you for sure.
What do you think? What do you think the hardest position in sports is? While we're here, in all of sports, in the top five, in the main 5 categories of sports, what would you think the hardest position would be?
Something that's got to be in the top 5. I'm gonna say 2 that come to mind is being a kicker in the NFL and being a catcher in the major leagues.
I was going to go catcher. Catcher for me is number 1. You're doing the hardest thing in sports, hitting a round ball with a round bat. You're catching, you're behind the plate. You're throwing the ball back every play. You're the commander of the field. You're calling pitches. We always say, hitting a round ball with a round bat is the hardest thing to do in sports. Number 2 is driving a NASCAR. Number 3 is downhill slope skiing.
You see the F1 training program?
It's insane.
It's absolutely insane.
It's all G-force.
Yeah.
You're losing 6-7 pounds every time you're in the car.
Crazy.
Like that is nuts. That's what makes that sport hard. But I think basketball is such an easy sport. You just need a basketball. There's hoops everywhere.
One of the easiest sports is playing in the NBA. They don't play defense. If no one's covering you, you can't make a shot. That's on you.
100%. I respect the whole quarterback. Everyone goes quarterback when I ask that question, but I don't know if I actually respect it, because being a quarterback, I mean, everyone hates all the time on Zach Wilson. For instance, granted he's probably not the best quarterback, but he's not the worst quarterback. He's one of the best 50 in the world to do it at this current time. He just doesn't have a good old line.
That's like when people complain about an MLB pitcher. Same thing. Like, bro, you wouldn't touch him if I gave you 50 tries. You always
say, like, you suck. He sucks. I'm like, he doesn't suck.
Yeah.
There's nothing about him sucks. He's just not playing on the right team and in the right system.
Yeah, and I feel like when I think of football, I think of athleticism. When I think of basketball, I think of athleticism. When I think of baseball, there's so much fine skill involved.
Skill, yep, all skill.
And that's why you see a lot of these athletes growing up ditch baseball because they had the athleticism, but they just don't have the fine motor skills,
and they don't have the mental for it.
And that's
it's such a tough game.
That's what people don't understand about baseball. I was thinking about my nephew's getting older.
Yep,
if I coach him, like what kind of coach I would be like.
Oh my God, Phil, what kind of coach do you think your brother would be?
Listen, I'm strict, but they would get better. That's all I would want. I would want them to leave in June better than they got to me in April. That's all I would ask for.
1,000,000%, dude. You see the video of so that his son was boxing. The dad pulls the son over to the side, and the son's crying. He's like, he's talking him up, but he's like, I don't want to see you crying no more. He's like, you put all this effort into it. He goes, I don't care about the outcome. I just want you to show yourself that you did it, that you went back out there and did it. Like that in itself,
it's the life.
Sports teach you how to be a person in life. A lot of people, if you were never an athlete, that's fine. There's many other skills that help you be a person in life. But for me, speaking in general,
you deal with adversity every day as an athlete.
Every second, dude. Every second you're on the mound, every second you're at bat, it's
someone's challenging you.
Yeah, and when they're not, when you're not practicing, who's lifting in the weight room when you're not. It's just such a mentally taxing. I remember, sitting in college and the night before my start, I'm sitting on the bowl and I'm like, this is fucking so much. It's just so much pressure. I mean, I love the pressure, but at times, you're sitting there and it's like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
My niece, actually, it's funny you bring up the pressure. Pressure is a privilege. I told her that a few days ago because she was feeling a little bit stressed about She's 11. Field day was coming up.
Stressing out field day.
And she doesn't feel like she's the most athletic person, and she's like, "Oh my god, when the boys start yelling at me, there's so much pressure." And I'm like, "Pressure's a privilege, you know. Be thankful that you have something to work towards, because some people don't have anything."
For sure, man.
And so back to my nephew, but what I was getting at was I was thinking about, teaching them that yes, baseball might be a slow game, but in between pitches, you first off.
Everything you got. Everything you got.
Sorry, I'm going through puberty. My bad.
Oh my god. The Anjiri family today, his voice is cracking left and right in here.
With allergy season, man. But
talk about it. Talk about Ralphie first before we talk about allergy season.
Well, I was thinking Santino.
Oh yeah, Santino. My bad.
But so I was thinking like in between pitches, there's a million things going through your head, and like most of the game of baseball is in between pitches, and that's what the average person doesn't understand. You need to think about that next move every pitch
while slowing the whole entire game down.
Exactly.
That's number one, dude. Like whenever we do lessons, everyone, the parents are always like, "Oh, is my kid gonna throw harder?" I'm like, "I don't know about harder, but your kid's gonna throw strikes and he's gonna keep himself in the game." Like, would you rather that, or you want your kid walk in the yard? It doesn't really make much sense to me.
Well, nowadays, it's all about the radar gun,
bro. Put some fucking bean juice in my milk. Like, look at this.
Oh, you like coffee now?
Are you kidding me? It's just caramel at the bottom and milk. This is why I don't go to Starbucks. This is why I go to Coffee Grind.
Facts.
The Coffee Grind closes at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, which doesn't help me. But come on with this. I don't even want to drink it. I'm drinking just caramel and milk. The whole milk, nonetheless.
And that's a lot coming from you because you love milk with a little bit of coffee in it.
I'm a 1% guy, though. 1% all day.
You were going to bring up something. You were going to say something about... I forget what you were going to say.
I don't know. What were we just talking about?
If you remember, we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But how long do you want to live?
Ooh, I've thought about this. I came in diapers. I want to go out in diapers.
Oh no, bro.
Yep.
Take me out back and shoot me before that happens.
No. I want to see everything that this whole entire lifetime will give me. I'll take 110 years if it gives me that. And in the last 20 years, I'm sitting there like in a chair. I'll learn to get comfy. I'll get some good TV stations if the TV's even a thing at that point.
I'm so glad you said this because I wanted to talk about this. The quality of life. It's not just about extending life; it's about quality of life.
Yeah.
And you know me. I'm listening to my podcast and shit.
Yeah.
And,
which podcast? Your guy.
I love Ed Milet. So anyone that comes on Ed Milet, I digest that podcast.
Ed Milet all day.
Yeah, Ed Milet. At the Ed Milet show. If we were ever on the Ed Milet show, oh, bro. But anyway, AI and the advancements that we're learning in science and health, they're really saying that with the advancements in AI, we're going to be able to live to 120 like it's nothing.
Sign me up.
Like that, that's going to be the norm, but it's about that quality of life. So they were talking about how you need to intercept that line where you took good enough care of yourself up to the point where we really see those advancements to now you can enjoy that life to 120. It's like for example, that person that lives to 60 and then lives like shit for the next 20 years. So maybe you live to 100, and with the advancements in science, you stay nice and healthy, you stay nice and self-sufficient, and then next thing you know, you live into your 120, and then maybe at 115 you got to come wipe my ass.
I'm in. Sign me up. I'll say by that time there's going to be like new food. There's going to be different
more GMOs.
But I feel like I'm at the point already. Like I need a new food. Like when the acai bowls came out. Oh my god, I was fucking. I was in a new world.
I'm at a point already where I need a new food.
Bad. I can't just eat like chicken and sandwiches all day anymore. I need some.
So
new
change
food.
your diet. They didn't just invent acai bowls.
I've eaten well, they kind of did in Long Island out of nowhere.
Yeah, but all those ingredients existed.
But the superfood of the acai was taken from like some island that it's not on Long
cracking
Island.
me up. You're cracking me up.
I'm at the point I need a new food bad. I'm telling you, something just to excite me. It's like a new movie.
Yeah, and
Like
then
there's no new movies anymore either. They're making a Happy Gilmore 2.
remakes. A lot of fucking
Like-
remakes. Yep. No.
Bro, Happy Gilmore 2. How do you remake Happy Gilmore? I was pissed about Wreck-It Ralph 2, as good as it was, but
Yeah. No. Listen. I think
they're just at the point like where they're just remaking old movies because there's no new ideas.
exactly. I mean, how often can you come up with? I mean, think about it. We're trying to take notes for this podcast every week. Like, that can be hard enough sometimes. Like, if you had a bad week where like nothing really came to mind, you're like,
Yeah, well, making a movie compared to a show is so different. There's new shows all the time. A show, I feel like, is so much harder. You're making
Well, that's what I'm
20
saying.
movies.
That's-
Like, for a movie, just come up with something quick. Like, something new, you know what I mean?
yeah. No, I don't know.
I
don't know if movies are
I-
that much
I
easier
was-
than shows.
I think movies have to be a hell of a lot easier. Like, if you think
You,
about
you
a
have,
show,
you have to keep it cohesive for an hour and 20 minutes versus just coming up with a show where you could change the topic all the time.
but you're
I
not
feel
just
like
changing the topic. It's one topic integrated into a whole world.
I would love to get a director on here and actually ask him what's harder because
I
I
would-
don't know.
absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. I would bet my life that making a TV show is a hell of a lot harder. You're making like 10 movies in a season. Essentially. If a movie's 2 hours long, you have 10 seasons in 10 episodes in a season at an hour. You're making 5 movies.
A little bit different, but I see where you're going with that.
Do you?
I do. No, this is why I would love to pick the brain of a director, but we don't have one yet.
Not yet.
Yo, do me a favor. If you're going to do the audio, smile a little bit over there, all right? Smile,
And laugh a little, okay?
You can laugh.
No, you can laugh. We're good
This
over there.
ain't going to pick you up.
Phyllis thought she had noise canceling headphones on, and Mario was whistling outside. She's like, I can hear him. I'm like, me too.
Oh, boy. So let's talk about the apps. I got an idea for you, all right? Like the Hinge, the Bumble, the dating apps.
Okay, let's hear it.
And is there an app where it's red light, green light, yellow light?
So, like, explain a little further. I like
So
where
red
you're
light
going.
means no thanks. I'll red light you. You won't even know that I red lighted you.
Okay,
move
so
on.
so that's an X. Yep.
And then green
light
is
would be-
like, you look like someone that I want to have my children. And then it lets you know green light. And then yellow is like, I'm interested,
but I just want to.
but I'm not really sure you're my type. But I'd still fuck.
This app is created and designed for Mario and Mario only.
I'll call it Mario Kart.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're swiping on a girl, and you're like, you're not thinking marriage, but you're wondering, you want to sniff her ass.
See, we talked about sex, and I knew you were going to go there.
I had
knew
these
you-
in my notes. What
I
do you
knew
want me
you
to
were
do?
going to go there. So what would the sniffing ass button be?
No,
would,
it's just
that
like
would that be a different color?
No. That's
oh,
yellow
that's-
light.
oh, that's
Yellow
yellow.
light
That's-
means like
that's yellow.
I'm iffy. I'm iffy right
That's
now.
my favorite color, and you're turning into sniffing ass.
Well, it's
what?
It's the yellow light. I didn't make the light system, but that's what I would use
You just
to let
did.
you know that I'm kind of interested.
You
like
just
we can
made-
hang out and maybe you'll change my mind and I'm like, oh my god, this is the mother of my children. But at least you know going into it, he's not really sure. I'm not really sure. She's not really sure, but we're gonna try it. And and then at least you don't have to feel bad if you hit it and quit it because you did the yellow light and there's no hard feelings.
Why don't you just match with someone and talk to them straight up about it instead of hitting yellow lights or green lights or red lights?
I'm busy. I just, it's just easy. It's just easy, like because then people have expectations. Just
I feel like I'm your therapist right now.
no, you don't want to be my therapist. So before we sign off, I have one more question for you. I want to pick your brain, okay? Because
Pick it.
Sean Strickland upset with Dana White in the UFC because they're not lining up that rematch with Duplessis yet. And it seems like Adesanya is going to get a chance to fight him. And so I want to ask you, if you were champion, are you a fan of rematches? would you be down for a rematch as the champion? Because in my mind, you're the champion. You can say, you can't be ducking contenders, but you can say who's next. And if Dana White in the UFC or any sport, if the powers at hand say they're cool with it, run with it.
Of course. Before I even say anything, Dana White is probably one of the head honchos of the sport, the CEO of the sport, that I would actually like to work for. Just because he's a dude that I feel like always has the fighters' backs, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it. Like in this instance for Sean Strickland, it's the fight game, man. It's all about this. It's all about the money. Izzy hasn't been in the octagon in 6, 7, 8 months now. By the time this fight is ready, that's where the money's at. And for Sean Strickland, who cares? Take a back seat for a second. Maybe even take another fight. Make yourself some money. Win that fight, and then fight the winner of that.
Well,
for the belt.
I see where you're going, but if you're Sean Strickland, if you lose that fight that you take, you can't fight scared. But if you lose that fight, you're not getting a rematch.
No, 100%. No, definitely. But I guess to answer your question, like, would I be a fan of rematches?
Not a fan, but would you take a rematch if it made sense for you?
If I was a fighter, these guys their longevity is not like a baseball player. Their longevity is not like some hockey players. These guys fight for 5 to 10 years and they're done. So I'm going where the money is. If the rematch is the one that's making me that's sending me the bag, yeah, I'm taking that. But
okay, Anthony Rendon. All right,
but it's different though. But I would just go where the money is in the fight game.
So if the money makes sense, you're doing any rematch.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I would accept a rematch only if it was a split decision.
I like that. I think if it's a split decision, you should have a rematch. I think that should be like done next time.
As a champ,
unless it was an awful fight,
right?
Like unless it was
it was Adesanya, Yoel Romero.
Oh my God, just a turtle match.
Just never do that again.
Never again.
Yeah, but split decision, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If I knocked you the fuck out, TKO, or won unanimously, no.
Yeah.
You're in my past.
You got to realize though, these guys also, some of them only fight twice a year. So if they were going right back for a rematch, they're only going to fight one more person throughout that year. So that has to make absolute sense for them. Mm-hmm. You're not getting 162 games like Anthony Rendon.
Right.
You're getting 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 if you're a crazy motherfucker like Kevin Holland, or Lupe Godinez. Like she'll fight anyone at any given second. But
Max Holloway even, right?
Well, Max Holloway just fights. We were talking about this, Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje. Bro, that fight's going to be nuts this weekend, number one.
Insane.
But those guys have a resume. Dustin Poirier, they fight their last 10 fights, you know them. For the average UFC fan knows them. That doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Real quick, though, did you see Maddie, MJ pulled out?
Yeah, so what's going to happen with that?
They're talking Patty. They're trying to get Patty involved.
You think it's going to happen?
So Maddie's ranked 15th again. He's right. He's number 15 in the rankings.
Patty's what? 7?
No, I don't even know if is Patty ranked? I don't think Patty's ranked. I don't think he has enough fights to be ranked.
I don't know. I mean, hey, listen, I would love to. I'd love to see that. What happened with MJ? Did they say or?
I haven't seen it.
Patty is what? Is he ranked?
That's why we need somebody over here. Patty Pimblett ranked?
Be better. Come on. Figure it out. Usually when I need to look up a ranking, I'll go on.
He's number 27.
He's number 27.
Yeah, he's not ranked.
So fight Maddie.
Dude, that's the fight right there. St. Louis.
But if you're Maddie, you don't want to fight someone lower ranked?
Maddie wants to bash Patty's face.
Okay.
Into the ground.
If it's personal?
I know. I don't even think it's personal. I think it's just for the show.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's for the fans. that Maddie versus the Scousers. The steamrollers, the teamrollers versus Scousers. Come on. That's money moves right there, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, Doesn't matter who Maddie's fighting. I'm rooting for him, right? So
All day.
I'll be tuning in. And thanks to you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe, share the show, hit that like button, comment, and like Franco usually says, there's always an
Wow, that's a stroke in your mouth.
Why can I never say that?
Keep going. Try it again. Remember the first time you ate the brownie and you couldn't do it?
Yeah, that
You
was
couldn't
bad.
sign off.
I'm totally sober right now, but there's always an open seat for you at the oven.
Yes, sir.
Keep it cooking in the oven. The oven. Yep, the oven. The oven.